Today on Getting Real with the Housewives, Dr. Jen Armstrong reveals why Noella may be the reason she was let go from Real Housewives of Orange County.
I feel like I was heavily edited, and then you're just brought into these situations where you're like, can we just move past this? This was like literally the second filming that we've ever done, and at the end of the season, we're still talking about it.
Plus, Taylor Armstrong talks to us about her Housewives return.
Now that I'm not in that trauma situation, I'm able to really be myself and show off my personality more. And I think it's really good for the viewers to see that there is life after.
And Andy Cohen apologizes to Garcelle. Jen Shah seemingly reacts about possibly being fired. And we break down the explosive Beverly Hills reunion finale. We've got that plus so much more on today's Getting Real with the Housewives. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy DeCamp. And Mandy, whoa, we have so much to talk about when it comes to Beverly Hills.
We are not sleeping much this week. There's a lot of TV to get to. And yeah, we finally got the end of Beverly Hills, and it was a sad ending.
It really was. That's the best way to put it. It was a very, very sad ending, but we're going to break it all down. But first, let's see what you guys had to say about last week's show. Crystal Phillips says Lisa acts like a drama queen, then acts like she is traumatized by someone else. When they make drama, Rinna needs to go. Seems like, a lot of people have been saying this for quite some time.
Yeah, Crystal's not alone in the comments. A lot of people want to see Rinna go. Do you think what she's done is fireable?
I don't know if it's fireable. I think just people are kind of like getting sick of the same routine that she kind of, goes after these people and there's never any consequences. I mean, we'll get to it later. I feel like there still wasn't any consequences for her last night either.
Yeah. All right. So Ray Day's Beauty Lookout, I like that name, commented, I think Jerry is right. Kathy tried to silence Rinna through text and admitted in that apology sit down that she said nasty things. So why boo Rinna? I agree. I see both sides. It's just so hard when we don't have the footage. Like we don't know what we're talking about. So my husband Jeffrey watched it with me last night, and he's not a Housewives expert like us, but he kept going back to how can we decide on a team if we don't have the footage? How?
Exactly. Yeah. It's just she said. We will never know. We won't.
We never will. No.
All right, well, let's get into the news. And Andy Cohen issued a public apology after receiving backlash from his response to Garcelle and Lisa's feud at the reunion last week. So he said, I need to really sincerely apologize, not only for diverting the topic, but for not returning, even worse, to the serious conversation that was at hand. I have deep admiration for Garcelle. He explained that he had a really good, productive conversation with Garcelle after the second part of the reunion. He said, I should have been more in tune with her feelings. I just wanted to say that because I've been logging in and I get it. So Lisa revealed, of course, last week that she was the one that threw Garcelle's memoir in the trash, even though Erika Jayne took responsibility for it. So during that time, Andy quickly changed the subject to question why Lisa seemingly didn't recycle the items in her waste bin. And in response, followers called out Andy for not supporting Garcelle.
Okay, yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. In the moment, I didn't realize really, it was kind of made a joke of the whole situation by saying that Rinna doesn't recycle. But now looking back, I totally feel for Garcelle in that moment. I mean, this is her book that she put a lot of time and effort into, and it was thrown in the trash.
Right.
And they didn't really focus on that. So, yeah. All right, moving on to Alexis Bellino. It's been a minute since we saw her in the news. She revealed that her 14-year-old son, Miles, is transgender, and he asked her to tell the world on his behalf. The former Bravo personality explained that the teen, who she shared with ex-husband Jim Bellino, had been asking for a while if she would post about his transition. She wrote, he's now ready to come out and to use this platform to stop any hate or questions. I know Miles truly wants me to post this because he's tired of the misgendering and confusion people have, and we are setting the record straight and hopefully bringing clarity. Bellino went on to say that Miles told her he is transgender 16 months ago, but he didn't immediately tell anyone else, and that she has unconditional love for her son. She added that Miles is happier than ever since coming out, writing, my son now smiles naturally for the first time in years. My son now loves the clothes he wears. My son can breathe knowing he can be his true self. My son lights up every single time a stranger calls him he. My son runs with the boys. My son can actually feel. My son can live life now with his true self.
I love that.
Yeah, I would love a reality show. And once they're a little bit older, maybe a reality show of like some of the Housewives kids from different cities. I think you talked to some of them in the BravoCon carpet about whether or not they do that, but I'd love to see that. Like all go to a house together and.
I think that's such a brilliant idea. Yeah. I asked Frank Catania Jr. if he would ever do like a winter house or a summer house.
Yeah.
And I think he would be up for it. But
oh my God, I would love to see Frank on the Frank Jr.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely. Frank, Gia, throw them all in the mix. But yeah, no, going back to the story, it's so great that Alexis is so supportive of Miles. And like she said, that he is able to live his true self and is happier than ever. So good for him. So that's really great.
Good. Yep.
All right, well, let's move on to talking about Jersey. Jackie Goldschneider and Margaret Joseph opened up to Us Weekly about their disappointment with Jennifer Aydin for throwing that drink at Melissa and Joe. Jackie told us, I'm not shocked that Jennifer Aydin threw a drink. I was shocked that it happened at BravoCon because I feel like that should be about the fans. We're not filming the show. You don't have to get dirty. So, I think it's unfortunate. I wish it didn't happen because I think it reflects poorly on the New Jersey cast, but I would hope that the rest of the time, everybody just had fun. While Margaret added that she let it get to that level was a disappointment. I think the words that she threw around, that she was a victim, she was alone, it was very crowded lobby. That's a dangerous rhetoric to put out there. So I don't agree with it. Of course, Jennifer threw a drink at Jennifer threw a drink at Melissa and Joe at the Gansevoort Hotel. It was caught on camera. Words were flying. It was an ugly scene, and it doesn't seem like her cast members are really happy about it.
Yeah. I don't think does it put Jersey in a bad light? Yes, but it makes me want to watch next season so badly.
Right. It puts Jersey in a bad light, but is anybody surprised? No.
No. Cameras were rolling in terms of like someone recorded it on their cell phone, but I love that cameras weren't rolling for the show and this still happened.
Yeah. It shows that like, this is not fake. This is real drama. And, she's not too happy about it.
No. Can't wait for next season.
Can't wait.
All right. Well, Jen Shah shared a pointed message amid speculation that she won't return for season 4 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She wrote via Twitter, "You will not take my voice. I have a lot to say, lies to correct, and people to put in their place. Hashtag coming soon. Hashtag Bravo TV. Hashtag Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Hashtag equality. Hashtag POC." Shah's post comes days after Andy Cohen hinted that she will not be part of the cast going forward amid her legal troubles. Days later, Shah compared her situation to that of Teresa Giudice, who returned to the Real Housewives of New Jersey after serving 11 months in prison. Following her 2014 conviction for fraud, she responded saying, "That's a great question." After a fan wrote, Andy announced that the real Jen Shah will no longer works for Bravo, but Teresa and her ex-husband literally got a spinoff when they did a crime. At what point do we stop letting the double standards for Pac go on? Hashtag white privilege, hashtag Salt Lake City Housewives. So, there's a lot to unload here. I don't think she should be returning to the show. I don't know if Teresa should have been returning to the show. Maybe not.
It is a little different than Teresa, but yes, maybe Teresa shouldn't have come back, but Teresa served 11 months in prison. Jen Shah is facing up to 15 to 30 years in prison. And it seems like she knew what was going on. Teresa, you can argue that she just kind of signed on the dotted line and didn't really understand what her husband Joe was doing. At least that's what she says. But I feel like this crime is a little bit more severe and it affected other people.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Teresa's was tax fraud. She didn't pay her taxes. This is scamming elderly people out of thousands and thousands of dollars. So this was a crime against other people.
It's extremely serious. And it's just what I was saying last week or a week before. They went on this trip to celebrate Jen. And it was like, I know at that point she was not guilty, but why are we celebrating this? Right. It could be that she did it. And now it turns out she pleaded guilty. It's not right to celebrate this or to put light on it or make light of it. It's a very serious crime.
Super serious, super serious. And I think we're only like a few weeks away figuring out what her sentencing will be. So of course we'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, it seems like you can't really compare the two.
No, but it does leave it open to the bigger question of if a housewife is arrested, because it's that common now.
Yeah.
Should we not have them back no matter what the crime is?
That is true. I mean, yes, it is very, Teresa probably, like you said, probably shouldn't have been able to come back and, celebrate her going to prison. So it's, I don't know. It's definitely, let us know in the comments how you guys feel about it too, because it's definitely a point of conversation.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get into this week's Real Talk. And we caught up with former OC star Jennifer Armstrong, who revealed why she was relieved that she wasn't asked to come back and why Noella may have had something to do with it. Take a look. What was your initial reaction when you weren't asked to come back to the show? How did you feel initially?
I think that, there was relief. There was some relief because as wonderful as it is, it's a big deal, right? It's like many hours of time.
Yeah.
But also, of course there's some disappointment too. Even if there's relief, there's disappointment. Like you always wanted to be back. They were very kind about it. I mean, even just recently we were talking about possibly recording in the office for this season. Okay. So the one, like, very kind, wanting for me to still be involved and be part of it. But I just kind of, I haven't really tried that hard to be part of it until recently. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I'd be open to that.
Yeah. So are you going to be filming for this upcoming season then? Is that?
We have to see if my landlord has to sign off. A bunch of people have to sign a bunch of paperwork to see if that can happen first.
Well, that's good. I mean, were you surprised initially that you weren't asked back? Or, like you said, there was a relief, but were you surprised?
A little bit, just because I had, that the next day they had COVID tested me. I had a meeting with the producer. It was all like set up to have it be a go. So it was a little bit surprising, right? It was like kind of last minute. Right. But so in that way, yes. In that way it was surprising.
Did they give you a reason why?
They said that they were trying to, I don't know if I can say all of it. Then following the other franchises where they're bringing back old, people from the past seasons into the season, which I think we all know is happening and happened with Heather, right? So they were trying to mimic or follow the other franchises.
Emily Simpson recently said that last year was the worst when asked about, casting decisions on the show. I mean, what is your reaction to that? And do you think that she's probably just talking about Noella?
I mean, she could be talking about me, but I disagree. Mm-hmm. So I would probably agree that Noella wasn't a great cast because it was too much of a show. You know what I mean? Like, just live your life and be yourself. But as I said before, maybe she doesn't know how to do that. It just seems like too much of a play, and then it hurts you when you're not authentic. I feel like you can't be on a reality show because it's not a reality, right? You're just acting.
Right.
And that's why I feel the biggest flaw was. Mm-hmm. And because it's just sucked in all these storylines, like the story and the evolution of the relationships of the women couldn't evolve because we were like stuck in this like make-believe world of Noella. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that was extremely frustrating for everybody.
Right. Do you think that if Noella wasn't on the show, like you could have been coming back this season upcoming? Because like you said, we didn't really get to know you on a way that maybe we wanted to.
Yeah. I feel like that. Yes. I feel like I was heavily edited and then you're just brought into these situations where you're like, can we just move past this? This was like literally the second filming that we've ever done. And at the end of the season, we're still talking about it. Like, it's about conflict and a conflict resolution so you can evolve and progress. And I feel like that didn't get to happen. Like we were stuck. Right. And that was really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean,
just in everyday life, that's frustrating.
Yeah, it seems like there's no love lost there between her and Noella.
No.
It appears that she's going to be at least maybe featured on this upcoming season of OC. They're working about filming. She ran into them while they were filming. So it seems like maybe it's not the last of Dr. Jen that we will see. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely, I know you got some updates on her split from her ex. I want to know. So I'd like to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We also caught up with OC's newest cast member and former Beverly Hills star Taylor Armstrong, who talked about being the first ever housewife to cross franchises and weighed in on the Kathy and Kyle drama.
I am so excited that you are back on the OC, the first housewife to do a crossover like this. How does it feel? And were you hesitant at all about making this decision, or were you like, yes?
No, absolutely yes. I think it was important for me. First of all, Ultimate Girls Trip, we had so much fun, and I'm experiencing Housewives for such a different vantage point because I had so much trauma in my life when I was filming Beverly Hills. So I wasn't able just to have fun and enjoy the cast and my friends. And now that I'm not in that trauma situation, I'm able to really be myself and show off my personality more. And I think it's really good for the viewers to see that there is life after, that you don't have to, I can actually relish these moments with these ladies as opposed to having so much anxiety in my personal life.
We're going to see a whole new side of you. I love it so much. I love it. So who did you gel with right off the bat?
Well, I've known Tamara, and then Heather and I knew each other socially. I would say the biggest surprise is that I've just kind of fallen in love with Emily. Yeah, she's amazing. She's super fun, and she's very outspoken, and I feel like you get what you're going to get with her, and I like that she's just very honest, and you don't have any questions about how she feels.
Definitely. With any drama, obviously it's Housewives, there's going to be some drama, but did you find yourself in any drama with anybody?
We've had a little drama. You have to stay tuned, though. You know that.
I know that. How did you feel coming off of Ultimate Girls Trip? Was that overall a good experience for you?
We had a blast on Ultimate Girls Trip. I would love to travel with those ladies once a year just to take a girls trip and just have some fun with them. I felt a little bad that Vicky wasn't able to have as much fun as I know Vicky can be because she was going through so much. And that was a little bit sad for me. And she and, as you know, she and Tamara were rooming together, so I felt like it was kind of a downer for Tamara too, because it was kind of hard for Tamara to go hey, I'm having so much fun, and Vicky was in pain, so I'd like to do it again with Vicky in a better spot.
Yeah, she said the same thing, that she would love a redo.
Yes, absolutely.
Where do you and Brandy stand?
We're good, actually, yeah. After Ultimate Girls, we're good. I mean, we're always going to give each other a little prod here and there, but we're in a good spot, yeah.
You've been watching Beverly Hills at all this season, and what do you think of the Kyle, Lisa, Kathy drama?
I'm dear friends with Kyle, and I love Kathy, and that I knew that when they went on together, Andy asked me actually on Watch What Happens Live, he said, do you think they're going to have drama? And sisters fight and housewives fight, and that breaks my heart because I love them both so much, and I got to be with both of them last evening at the Watch What Happens Live taping, and I just don't like the way that friction feels.
Yeah, she is hoping that sisters mend relationships. So let's get right into and recap this week's episode, starting off with that part 3 of the reunion. I don't even know where to begin.
I know, I don't either. I mean, I think right off the bat, Kyle and Dorit were kind of reprimanded because they were when watching it back, Garcelle saw that they were laughing at the situation between her son and Erika when Erika yelled at her son at that party. I felt for them. In editing, it looked much like they didn't realize how bad the situation was. They didn't see it for their own eyes. So I understand their apology.
I agree. I totally agree. And even Garcelle admitted too, she's like, I didn't realize just how bad it was until I saw the show back. So I think a lot of people were Dorit was there. So she did see how bad it was. I mean, she was sitting right next to Erika. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, Andy kind of went in on Erika, Erika saying that, she's had some legal wins, but then she had this really, off-color, terrible plane analogy. When she was saying, you put your mask on before other people, obviously knowing everything that went on with the Lion Air plane crash. And that's why a lot of this has come to light. It was just a really poor analogy.
Oh my gosh. I was like, what is she thinking?
I don't know.
No, she just puts her foot in her mouth one day after another.
Right. And I mean, she still doesn't really show sympathy for the victims. I get it, that she's in this legal battle, but you can still say, I feel for these people.
Totally. Yeah. I know. I hope next season we're can put this to bed a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And move on. So then Kathy joins the couch.
Yes.
And the first thing that's brought up is the tequila and the whole situation that kind of caused her outburst, I suppose. So part of it was that she thought Kyle was setting up a tequila tasting of her tequila, and Kyle wasn't. So it was that kind of spurred her anger.
Right. Yeah. I guess she assumed that her sister was doing something nice for her. And I guess she had it in her head that was happening. And when it didn't, she kind of went off, or not went off, just got really upset. And then Kyle was like, well, how is this my fault? Like, I was just trying to have a nice day at Kimosabe or whatever it's called. And you know, that was a little immature, I think. And then she, you know, she said she actually wasn't mad at Lisa Rinna during that whole thing that she ordered the Kendall Jenner tequila. But it was a bit odd. Yeah.
And then the DJ story. I mean, this is great. I want to call this place and talk to this DJ who told
that's
Kathy.
The thing. It's like, why? Yeah. It's like, why isn't anybody coming forward and saying something? Like, people that were at the club, this Sprinter van driver, where are you? I need to know. Like, give me these firsthand accounts. I need to know the story. Like,
and they still never addressed why they weren't shooting it.
Right. Why? I get why you couldn't shoot in the club, like you weren't allowed, but like, why weren't you shooting in the van? Like, there's cameras all around. Like, unless like they're just, the producers just went home and somebody needs to just turn on the cameras. I guess, but I don't know. This is a huge mystery. And, you know, and then Erika saying that Kathy used a gay slur.
That was crazy.
I was
not expecting that. Who knows if it's true or not? You know, it's kind of would be odd for Erika to make it up, but who knows? Again, it's her word versus her.
Right. And then they had an HR investigation into all of this. So this really did get pretty deep and really did get pretty serious, and they didn't find anything. But like Andy said, it's just a case of she said, she said.
Right. And also, like, I don't know, if you're in a club and it's loud, maybe she heard it wrong. I don't know.
I don't know either. But like, in your opinion, do you feel like Lisa was put on blast like she should have been during the episode?
During the reunion? Or
during the reunion,
yeah. I mean, I think calling her the biggest bully in Hollywood was extreme.
Yeah.
I think Kathy said that Lisa said, "Oh, you're preaching to the choir." I know, but like, that's just making conversation. I didn't think that was that bad for her to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I stand by Rinna sort of still. I feel like she isn't as bad as they're making her out to be. I think that Kathy said some really horrible things about her own family. That should be the focus of this.
Right.
Not that Rinna brought it up. Do I think Rinna should have let it go a lot earlier?
Yes, no, totally. But like, and then Lisa saying that she was traumatized. She saw the devil in Kathy and that she was a monster. Like, how bad could this have been? Like, really? I mean, it seems like this woman just like had like a meltdown. I still have so many questions about this. Like, what happened? Also, like, very disappointed in Kyle for not standing up for her sister, not saying anything to Lisa during that entire reunion, really being like, what was the point of this? Why did you do this? Why are you hurting my family? I feel like this was definitely a missed opportunity for Kyle.
I feel like Kyle is scared of Kathy and won't like say anything to her. Didn't want to escalate the situation more, because Kathy probably said, if you say 2 words, not talking to you till BravoCon, which we later found out they didn't see each other between the reunion and BravoCon, which is, crazy, because I think they live very close to each other.
Right.
Paris was liking tweets. That was surprising about Kyle. I don't know. I think Kyle needs to stand up for herself, whether it's to Lisa or to Kathy or both.
Right. I feel like she's scared of Lisa too. I feel like she didn't want to say anything to Lisa as well. But I don't know. I mean, when I spoke to Kathy at BravoCon, she said that, Kyle was starting to kind of see through everything. And so I don't know the status of Kyle and Lisa's friendship right now. Yeah. Like we said, we don't know who's coming back, who's not. But I feel like there would definitely be a cast shakeup in Beverly Hills.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. And then Kyle didn't want to stay for the final toast. That was kind of sad.
Blame her. Like, I would be like, I need to get out of here. This is terrible.
I know. The whole situation was awkward.
It really was. I mean, overall, a very bumpy season, and kind of happy to be done with it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Salt Lake City.
Yeah. I love a good Salt Lake City episode. I mean, Lisa Barlow is becoming a fan favorite of mine. She's just so ridiculous.
She is ridiculous. I think she sort of knows it, but I don't know. It's still, it plays off like she's just a good character still.
Totally. Yeah. And then we had Angie come back in the mix. Of course, she was the one that possibly started that rumor of Lisa sleeping with the guy for jazz tickets.
Which she denied last night.
Which she denied. But yeah, it seems like that's going to be like an overall theme this season.
Yeah, definitely. And then Lisa saying she doesn't blame Whitney for sharing the bad truth. I guess that was kind of her way of saying it wasn't bad that she shared the bad truth about Meredith last season. So however you want to justify it to yourself, Lisa, whatever.
Whatever. And then we have Whitney like officially leaving the Mormon church. And, she's still going through this whole healing process. So it seems like she's kind of moving on from that.
Yeah. We saw Heather talk about her book, Bad Mormon. I can't wait to read that and see the things that she's been through with the religion.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be an interesting read. And then Jen's trial is pushed. And finally, Whitney saying at the end of the episode, why are we celebrating this? Why are we celebrating your trial? Like you said earlier, like this is not a cause for celebration. Like what is wrong with these people?
It's like, I'm not just hating on what she did and all of that, which it's a horrible, horrible crime. It's also like she might, like you said, go to jail for 15 something years.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad. It's on every account you look at, and why are we celebrating any of it?
Right. It makes
she should be
sense.
With her family.
Yeah, she really should. Yeah, no, that you're so right. It's like, why are you filming a TV show right now?
Yeah.
Like you should be home with your family and spending some time with your kids. Like if you're going to go away for a very big portion of their life, like that's what I would be doing. Yeah. All right, let's move on over to Potomac. Mm-hmm. These women are fiery. I like it. It's good. We're getting this whole, it seems like this Candace, Chris, Giselle drama is going to just blow up. And it's like so slowly starting to bubble. It seems like maybe Giselle and Robin are going to be on the outs too in all of this. I mean, whose side are you on in this whole Giselle, Chris thing?
So last week I was on Giselle's side. Now I'm a little bit more in the middle. I didn't quite realize it was responding to an Instagram story and not a direct DM. Mm-hmm. I think there is a big difference there. Yeah. I mean, I respond to people's stories all the time who I'm not even that close with anymore. So that was a little, for me, I was like, all right, maybe it wasn't that bad. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree. And, even when Giselle was explaining it to Karen at the end of the episode, being like, I felt uncomfortable and I had asked him to leave. And Karen's like, well, did he go? And he's like, yeah, she left right away. And then Chris said that Giselle was the one to tell him to go to the hotel room. So it's, again, he said, she said. Yeah. So not really sure who to believe in this, but, Candace is not happy. And, and especially when she's going through her egg freezing process. She said, obviously it brought on a lot of stress and it's just not a good time for her. So I do feel bad for her because, she made a good point that everybody welcomes back Michael Darby, who is an absolute creep. And, and she's like, well, what about my guy who has always made you feel welcome and comfortable when Michael Darby is a cheater who gropes camera people?
I totally agree with that. I don't think that Chris is on anywhere near the level that Michael is.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And then, speaking of Michael, Ashley has like a full on breakdown about her split, realizing that she's going to be living on her own and, it kind of just all hits her at once.
That was sad. That was a very real moment for her. Yeah. I really like Ashley. I hope her and Luke find love or someone soon. Because
I do too.
Such a good time and I feel for her. I mean, no matter what he did or anything, it still is sad that she's mourning her marriage, and that's sad.
Definitely. All right, let's move on to our social spotlight. I have two. My first one goes to Candace because she tweeted season 8, I'm just about to start lying. I'm just going to start saying whatever fairy tale fallacies come to the top of my dome, since apparently that's what the show has come to. Bitches are so devoid of lives that they will flat out lie to keep their check. So like we said, she's not happy at all. It just feels like people are just lying to have a storyline and who knows. And then my other one goes to Erika Jayne because she is doubling down on what she had to say about Kathy Hilton, saying, I was there, it happened. What the audience chooses to believe is beyond my control. I will never back down from the truth of what happened that night at the club in Aspen. So doubling down on that one. Messy.
Messy. All right. Mine goes to Rinna. She shared this story that originally was posted by All About RH on Instagram. It says, it basically brings, it's a photo of everyone that she has. They said the many victims of Lisa Rinna. And she wrote, just doing my job, folks, just doing my job, calling out their bullshit one cast member at a time.
Ooh. I mean,
and it's Kathy. It's, is that Sutton?
It's Sutton, Kim, Lisa Vanderpump,
Denise, Yolanda.
Marcel, Yolanda, Camille. It's got them all there.
She's got quite a list.
That's quite a list. I mean, in her defense, she is doing her job. We're talking about it. It was a big storyline of the show, and that's what we want to watch. I mean, that's what we're here for. So, all right. Well, we are putting a pin in Beverly Hills. We are done.
Yes.
Ready to just concentrate on Salt Lake City and Potomac for a little while. So, but we appreciate everybody's comments. Keep them coming. Keep subscribing. If you want to listen to our full interview with Dr. Jen Armstrong, listen to our Getting Real with the Housewives podcast. Mandy, I'm exhausted.
Me too. We need some sleep.
Seriously. All right. Well, we will be recapping the Housewives next week. So make sure you check back in for Getting Real with the Housewives. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.